off their plate. So the third problem that we encountered was he had an hourly billing trap, right? He was billing the wrong way. They were charging $250 an hour, and the average client value was $1,500. All right, so that's 6 hours on average. This, in my opinion, was leaving a lot on the table because people were actually coming to him not for hourly services, they were coming for a specific result. The issue here is that he actually was underpricing the result. And so trying to say, hey, we're $250 an hour, maybe that's a lot, maybe it's not a lot. No one has a really good idea of what an hourly rate should be unless they just look at other people's hourly rates, which makes you a commodity. Whereas if you say, hey, you want your music to be able to be sold to a record label, I'll get all of the IP protection in place in order for you to do that. Well, now I can position the price of my thing in relation to the dream outcome that they want, which is to become a music star and ultimately leverage that to become famous and save the world with their music. And so this underpricing trap is especially common with service providers who price based on time, based on outcome. All right, you want to be value-based, not kind of feature-based in terms of your pricing. So we ditched the hourly billing and we went with $5,800 up front. Now that sounds, you're like, holy cow, that's way bigger. Now remember, he had plenty of sales conversations that he was able to generate, and he had a pretty good close rate. And so if you have a really good close rate or an exceptionally good close rate, then I hear that and think, oh, we're underpriced. And so on top of this $5,800, we also tagged in a little commission that he gets if they close a deal. And some of these deals are worth several $100,000. So it actually adds up to be pretty material for him. But also I like adding that piece in because when you talk about flat fee plus performance, guess what you think the prospect is thinking? Oh, this is probably gonna happen. So we actually, literally how we present our price will dictate the belief that a prospect is going to have based on what they will believe our incentive structure is. If he just said, hey, I'm 100% commission, then people will be like, holy cow, that's an amazing offer. And a lot of people do that because it is such an amazing offer. But how can we dial this back to find the sweet spot? Because plenty of these musicians might not have been good. And some of the clients that you might work with might not actually be successful. So we have to balance our risk here. But still having an element of performance still drives that conviction. Now, what we did that I think is kind of clever, and this is my preferred way of doing things if I ever